Stacey Berger here with Andrea today, and we're going to be talking to Andrea a little bit about her vision, do some laser coaching, and for the purpose of serving this whole community. So one of the things that I know is that when one person has a question, chances are that that question can absolutely serve almost all of us. So thanks for being here, Andrea.
My pleasure. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So Andrea, you and I have been doing some work together for what, about 8 months, 6 months?
Eight, probably, yeah, closer to 10, maybe even.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so as you look at your vision, Andrea, and one of the things that we do is we work with four quadrants. So we have our health, relationships, our career or vocation, and then the time and money freedom. So if you look at right now, which quadrant is most important to you, one of kind of that highest priority one? And usually we've got one or two we're more focused on.
I've got this renovation going on, and that sort of vocation, but also time and money, because I need to get the renovation done so I can get things rented out and start this sort of new business venture where I feel lack
Yeah.
rather than expansion. So yeah, I sort of feel lack sometimes. Yeah. So those two quadrants.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the feeling of lack and again, just for all of us, right? The feeling of lack, or we call it the longing and the discontent. So when we're looking at the four areas of our life, life growth is speaking to us all the time, and it's asking us and inviting us to lean in, to grow, to become a more expanded version of ourselves. And one of the ways that it does that and shows up for us is in discontent,
Yeah.
which in your case right now you're speaking to in terms of lack, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
yeah. And so you had a vision of renovating your basement and renting that out as a way to generate some more income. So you're in the midst of that.
Midst of it, yes, yes. Not quite living my vision yet, but getting very close to it. So I'm excited. And it's been a waiting process, which has been frustrating for me as well.
Mhm.
But sort of, yeah, getting towards that final product, I guess, shall we say.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things you and I've talked about, Andrea, and it's a big part of it, right? We have the vision. So in your case, you have a vision of a fully renovated basement. You're renting that out. It's generating income. And so you have the vision, and we're not there yet, right? We're in a current condition. So there's a gap. And by definition, that's why it's called a vision, because there's a gap.
Yes.
And when we're in the gap, which means I'm not yet seeing the results, it's really easy to get frustrated, right? To be disappointed. I mean, you've had some challenges with trades and it's taken a little bit longer. And the real work, and we call this the real work, right? Really easy to be grateful when the basement's renovated and the money's coming in and the trades are showing up. Easy to be grateful in those moments. But the real work is, how am I showing up inside the gap?
Yes.
And we've really been trained in this thinking that, well, when I have the result, then I'll be happy, then I'll be grateful, then I'll feel relief. And the work that you and I do together is that I've got to generate that feeling within in order to get to the result. So just maybe speak a little bit to that, Andrea, and how that has served you, where it's been easy, where it's been challenging. What have you noticed there?
Everything's just taking so much longer than I had initially anticipated, right? I've had to fire a contractor, and that was super stressful. And then just having so many contractors in and out of my house, and like it's just noise constantly, and then working on their schedule as well, which isn't necessarily corresponding with my schedule, and trying to keep gratitude in mind throughout all of this and not, come unglued
Yeah.
on anybody, because that is not the type of person that I want to be. And I know that's not the type of person I want to be. So I've been fortunate enough that I do have a good general contractor. So I've been able to rely on him,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm feeling not quite like the person that I want to be. I can
Yeah.
say, well, how about you handle this?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be burning any bridges, that type of thing. So it's been stressful. And then of course, everything else that happened in my life the last little while as well, which is sort of compounded and just yeah, it's been an interesting few months.
Yeah. And would you be willing to speak about what else has been going on? Are you comfortable
Yeah,
sharing that?
yeah, I'll
Yeah.
try not to cry, but my mom passed away just it'll be 2 months ago on the 29th, so in 2 days. So um, that took me away from sort of everything. And that was really hard too, because the contractors were always like, well, we need this and this and this and this. And I'm like, no,
Mm-hmm.
I am focused, completely on my mom right now. So and yeah, that did not help my stress levels whatsoever. Um, I'm not even sure if I could have found gratitude at that point. But that is incorrect, because I did find gratitude at that point.
Yeah.
Uh, everybody that was taking care of my mom was just amazing. And but I had put that into my vision. And so when I was going through, the last few weeks of her life, I knew what type of a person I wanted to be, and I knew how I wanted to show up for that. And so I did. And I'm really proud of myself for how I
Yeah.
did that. Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew, I think, give yourself some credit and pat on the back, right? You should be very proud. I mean, you had very intentionally made a decision about who do I want to be as I'm navigating this, end of life with my mom. How do I want to show up?
Yeah.
How do I want to choose to spend my time? And the ability to say no to some things, right? That this isn't a priority right now. This is who I want to be. This is how I want to show up. And you did that. And that takes a mastery level of thinking and of awareness to not let the conditions and circumstances determine that. But you really made a conscious effort, and not easy, not
No,
easy.
no.
So yeah, you should be very proud
Yeah,
of
I
that.
am. I'm super proud of myself. And I mean, I know my mom would be proud of me too. So,
Yeah.
uh, you know, but,
Yeah.
it's still dealing with the grief and, the aftermath and the
Course.
estate and everything that goes along with that, and still dealing with a renovation. And, um, you know, people always tell me how strong I am. And there's days where I'm like, I don't want to be strong.
Mhm.
I'm just done.
Yeah. Yeah. That it's okay to be vulnerable and to say, you know what, I can't do this right now. And that grieving process is very, very real. So allowing yourself time to be inside of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So would you be willing, Andrea? I would love to support you in setting yourself up for success over this next kind of 4 to 6 weeks with, yeah. So what I hear you saying is time. So there's a little bit of a lack of time, and you're running a business, you're
Yeah.
grieving still,
Mhm.
dealing with the estate, you've got the renovation. So there's lots going on. So easy to go. And now we're going into the holidays too.
Yeah.
So easy to move maybe into stress and to overwhelm. So how just to really support you and to navigate that. So would you be willing to move through that and to set yourself up for success here? Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I would invite anybody who's watching to do this along with us, because the process, regardless of the conditions or the circumstance, the process really is the same. But if you can put both feet on the floor, Andrea, and sit up nice and tall, and go ahead and just take a nice breath in through the nose and exhaling slowly through your mouth as if you're breathing through a straw. And we'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling and exhaling. And continue to breathe in that way, Andrea. I'm just inviting you to imagine. Let's imagine it's 6 months from now. And so we're, late spring going into the summer. It's 2024 and it's all worked out. And would you be willing to just take us into kind of a snapshot version of what's happening in your life? So in the present tense, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and take us into what's happening in Andrea's life.
I'm so happy and grateful now that my renovation is completely done. I am running a very successful Airbnb. My suite is regularly rented out. I have amazing tenants, or clients, I guess we'll call them. They're not really tenants, but yeah, I have amazing clients. My backyard is looking amazing. I've made it another like really beautiful space outside, which adds to the allure, I guess, of my Airbnb. My garden is just being planted and the yard looks fantastic. I've been doing some more purging, which is freeing me and giving me what I feel like I need, more space. And I've been able to rearrange some stuff and move some stuff around. And I personally feel lighter and freer. And yeah, I'm doing some more traveling. I'm getting ready for a trip down to Oregon that I want to take on my bike.
Beautiful.
And yeah, I just have this sense of lightness and sense of adventure in me. And yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Andrea. So you're rented out, you've got great renters and purging, the gardens are planted, you're taking the trip. When you think about that, how does it feel? Where do you feel that?
I feel that sense of lightness. There's just been such
So let's stay in the
pressure.
lightness.
Yeah.
Let's stay in the
Yeah.
lightness.
So
So
I
it's
just
all
feel,
worked
yeah,
out.
so light and free. Um, yeah. Yeah. The
Take a
lightness
breath
and free.
into that right now, Andrea. So just feel that lightness, feel that freedom.
Yeah.
And that version of you, what would she say to you right now? What wisdom, what message does that version of you have for you today?
I say it to myself regularly every day that everything always works out for me in the most spectacular of ways. I've looked back many times and everything always works out for me.
Yeah.
In the most amazing of ways.
Beautiful.
That I never thought would be possible. But yeah, everything always works out.
And when you hear those words right now, how does it feel?
It's a really good reminder of that I just need to, stay. I like to say singularly focused, but it's not really singularly focused because, my life is full of magical stuff. And yeah, so there's lots of magic.
But maintaining the mindset. So the singular focus or the energy or the mindset of that freedom, that lightness, that things are always working out for me in spectacular ways. Yeah. And is there an action step, Andrea, that you could take to ground this?
Yes, one for sure. I know I need to reach out to somebody in our group about like looking at some blinds for me.
Okay.
Because I know, and that's been on my mind. I know I've been wanting to do that and I have
So,
not quite yet done it. So
so when will you do that by?
I will do that this afternoon, actually. I will reach out to her because,
Okay.
yeah, it would be great to sort of have all of that come together at once, you know,
Okay.
rather than, up until now, it's been sort of this, well, the kitchen's 5 weeks out. This is a couple of weeks out. That's a couple of weeks out. So through the process of learning that everything's always a couple of weeks out, I probably should have done this a couple of weeks ago.
Here you are today. So
Yeah.
making a decision to reach out by this afternoon. Good
Yeah.
job. Good job. So good, Andrea. Well, we are holding freedom and lightness for you.
Thank you.
And I love the idea. And so, for anyone else who wants to adopt that idea that things are always working out for me in spectacular ways, and it sounds like just putting some reminders around you to connect to that, knowing when you're noticing what you're noticing and that overwhelm is rising up, to take those 3 breaths. Things are always working out for me in spectacular ways. Yeah,
Yeah.
love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Andrea. I just, yeah, adore you. And it's been so fun to watch the growth over this last few months. And yeah, lots yet to come.
Lots, lots, lots. Yeah, it's been
Wonderful.
such a great experience. So, yeah,
Mm,
yeah. Thank you.
wonderful.